Continuing our look back at the year in tennis, let's go back to Wimbledon in early June, where Pete Sampras attempted, eventually won his third straight title. Sampras took out Boris Becker in a classic final. Turned out it was Sampras' start to his charge back to #1 in the world, which he took over from Andre Agassi just 3 weeks ago now at the Paris Open. Pete Sampras, 95 Wimbledon champ.
Right now, Michael Chang is ranked 4 in the world, Boris Becker 5. If Becker beats Chang today, and he's only a set away from doing that, Boris Becker will become 4 in the world starting tomorrow. And by the way, Andre Agassi starting tomorrow is 2 in the world, Thomas Muster 3, and Pete Sampras will end this season as the #1 player in the world for the 3rd year in a row. And no one had kept that year-end #1, stayed #1 like that since Lendl in the 80s. 3 years in a row is one.
This is the easiest game that Michael Chang has had for a long time. Actually, it's the easiest service game he's had. When he served to love to go to a 5-2 lead in the first set, and hasn't been doing too well on serve since then. Matter of fact, this will be the only time he's held serve since then.
Spiel, Chang.
Chang holds on. It is 1 game all, and Becker leads by 2 sets to none at the World Championship. Tonight here on ESPN, the Oilers and the Chiefs. That'll be from Arrowhead Stadium. And it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Oilers are still in the hunt for a playoff berth in the Central Division of the AFC. And, of course, the Chiefs are having a super year.
No, 15-9.
Now, it's been a good year for Becker, but interestingly, he's only won 1 title this year. And that's surprising because, as you can see, through 85 through 89, he won at least 2. He won 5 in 1990. And a couple of years ago, in 94, or last year rather, he won 4 titles. But this could be #2.
First service.
I honestly think Boris Becker's best ever year was in 1989. He ended the year ranked 3, but to my mind, he won Wimbledon, he won the U.S. Open, and he won Davis Cup for Germany. He wasn't #1 in the world till 2 years later, after he won the Australian Open. But for my money, the 89 was Becker's highlight.
In fact, that was the only year he has won the Open, U.S. Open.
And here it is 6 years later. He's very close to winning one of the premier events on the men's calendar. A good return from Michael Chang.
Right side and 30-15.
No, he held it love, so obviously he's got to feel this is his last big chance to do something and stay in this final. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, here's Becker serving much bigger than Chang. He's got twice the number of winners than Michael has.
40-15.
And he's I mean, those numbers are hard to, yeah.
He's got twice the number of errors, too. As you'd expect, he's the man who's making things happen, and most of the things that are happening to Becker today are good, very good. Started out slow, but he's in control of the match now.
A deal with Lufthansa. They come in here and stay for a week and have all their meetings for next year, but it's a nice touch that they have all the tournament directors. They come here and they actually look for their tournament around the stadium here, around the outskirts of it.
Great shot. 30 love Chang.
Michael Chang is not one of the controversial guys in general on the tour, but he was the object of much discussion in today's State of the Game meeting with Mark Miles. His racket, which is 29 inches long, Michael Chang's, is fine. It's gotten through all the regulations, but now there is a move by the ITF, and the ATP agrees there should be a ban on making rackets any bigger. There is a racket that is in the works, one of the manufacturers, that's 2 inches longer than the norm. And they're thinking of perhaps outlawing that kind of stuff for the pros.
Well,
good, I hope they do.
29 to 32 inches. I think they've sort of tried to cap it at 29. I agree with you guys. I think it's a great idea.
40 love now. Chang going for his second love game on serve.
In a row.
I think Boris is just maybe taking a little bit of a rest mentally. Another thing that came up about Michael Chang is this T-shirt he's wearing. This goes against the current rules of the ATP Tour. You're supposed to have to wear a shirt when you're playing a match. You're supposed to have a collar on it. So that was another big discussion.
I hope they stop that too. I'm against that T-shirt. You know, if he got special permission to wear it, I don't know from whom, but he did apparently. And if they let that go, you're going to find all the players on the tour will elect to get out there and play in T-shirts with designs on them. And I don't think that's good for the image of the game.
Chang holds on, and it is 2 games all. He did double check, he said, with the ATP about wearing it, and he got the okay, and then he sort of tongue-in-cheek said, well, you know, I'm knocking Andre a little bit because this is the look of the 90s that I'm promoting. Be that as it may, I know you don't like it.
Well, I think as a professional sport, you should have a collar on your shirt when you're out there. That's just me, and I think thoughts of a lot of other people.
It's a clothing manufacturer war, isn't it, Fred? I mean, this is Reebok stuff trying to go up against Nike's.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And obviously, if you buy a T-shirt, it's not going to be as expensive as buying a collar shirt.
$15 love.
A little bit of a...
Again, Fred, just on that subject, it's so difficult for me to say, well, what kind of regulations when you let Andre Agassi come out with something that looks like he's about to go to bed in it?
I'm just saying a collar shirt, that's all. You mean to say you don't wear a T-shirt to bed?
Chang wants that called wide.
This is a ho-hum set, this one, because nothing really much is happening. There's only been a point here and a point there against the serve. Actually, there's only been 3 points against serve in the 4 games that have been played.
Yeah, I think Becker's whole attitude is all I've got to do is hold a couple more times and I've won this thing. I don't think he's going to work that hard on his return games. And he doesn't really have to. Look how well he's serving.
At 3 games to 2, the players will change hands, take a break. We'll join them. And when we come back, it'll be more of Chang Becker in the World Championship from Frankfurt.